Hello there. This is Book Talk on Book Place. And on Book Talk, as always, we get to have an author come and tell us about his book or her book. And today we are very honored to have with us one wonderful guest who is known as Cristina Foxwell.
Yes, that's
Cristina.
right.
Yeah, Cristina Foxwell. I got it right. Thank you. And Cristina Foxwell is actually the founder of ignitepurpose.com.au. And she's going to tell us about that one. But what we are very interested in right now here at Book Talk is a book that Cristina is launching in just a while, known as Grow Me, 12 Steps Guide to Personal Growth and Success. But I'm not going to talk about it since we have Cristina with us. Cristina, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Anthony. It's so lovely to be with you on the show. I feel very privileged. Thank you.
Yes, and we are really honored to have you here. And as we get started, we'd like to know much or a little, at least, about yourself. Please tell us.
Okay, so I'm originally, don't you like that? The original root of me was from Africa.
Oh.
So I was born in Port Elizabeth, South Africa.
Okay.
And I migrated to Australia with my two children 13 years ago. And now I am a proud Australian because I am in this country and I'm grateful for the goodness they have provided for me. And I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. My grandson is 1 year old. I'm very grateful.
Oh.
I know. And I am a mother and a mother-in-law, and I have a wonderful son, and I have a beautiful husband. I'm a daughter and a sister, and I'm a leader and someone who is moved by making a difference in people's lives. That's kind of who I am.
Oh, that's wonderful. And Ignite Purpose. Let's know about it also, please.
Okay. So I use this analogy that sometimes we are pregnant with purpose. So we get born with purpose and we carry it around with us.
Yeah.
And then, if we don't get to our purpose, we get frustrated. And so a few years back, when I got to Australia, actually, I started wrestling with purpose.
Okay.
I knew I needed to do something that wasn't what I was doing at the moment. And it was a wonderful yet challenging thing. And having given birth to some kids, I went through this place where I believe that we can do things different. We can help people evolve who they are. So they can be happier every day. They can be more purposeful in their jobs.
Yeah.
They can be more effective in the work they're doing. They can enjoy it and really bring the best out in themselves. And I also knew that the age-old way of teaching people, just sending them to a course to teach them a structure or a process, it wasn't getting results. People weren't changing. People weren't growing. They were getting an education piece, but didn't know how to bring it to life. And that bringing to life piece was what I wanted to capture in my work.
Okay.
So I started Ignite Purpose. It's our 9th anniversary now. We're going into our 10th year, which is wonderful. I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
And in this time, it's evolved. So we really look at the culture hive within an organization. How do we bring a hive to life?
Yeah.
But that hive has got a component, and that the heart of the hive is every single person who brings what they have so that we can be better together. And I'm so passionate about that. And that's really what Ignite Purpose is. We actually work in the corporate space. That's where our work is. That's where I often say they hire me, but they don't exactly know what they're getting. And when they've got me, they're not sure what to do with me. And then we start the transformational work and people's lives start changing. And that in itself is different and a little bit alternative. And then at the end of the day, this culture turns into the space where people start making, like your village, where people start making space for other people around them. And you know what? I do believe that's the cultures of organizations we've got to have in the future. because people matter.
Ah, sure they do.
They matter.
You talk of the hive,
The hive.
and I think you've taken that from a beehive
Absolutely.
where we get the honey, the sweet thing from. Can you please
The
explain
richness.
us how they relate to the work environment and
Of course.
it's the lessons we may draw from there?
So when I was working in this high performance culture piece, I always said we've got to connect people and performance. And when they come together, it's like an alchemy, because then from that comes this beautiful piece of richness of success and better customer engagement and better profits and better, it all becomes better because we're bringing people and performance together. And then as I was working, I'm very creative. I was like, come on, it needs to go to that next level, because we're talking about the individual, and then we're talking about the leader leading themselves as an individual and then leading people. And then we extend it into the hive where we go, we know each bee in that hive knows its job. From the queen to everybody knows their job. Everybody works together. You know, they work as a hive. They work as a team. They work relentlessly to make honey, to build this place where they can be together, and where, of course, honey is beautiful and sweet, and that's the outcome of the work, right? The outcome of the work is fragrant, as I call it. It's beautiful. But the input of the work means we all know who we are as a person, how we bring what we have, how we lead with courage, love, with honesty, with character, and then how we bring it together and we learn how to be together. And that's why there's the hive. So I'm really excited by the hive, because I believe the hive concept is going to create higher performing organizations. And I've seen it. Keeping that hive working, though, is a consistent challenge for each person to keep filling their cup.
And I like the fact where you mentioned that, and this is exactly what you're saying. First, know how to lead yourself so that you can lead others. I mean, you cannot lead others if you yourself are out of control. So I
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because often I'll get phoned by I call myself the open heart surgeon of organizations. I get phoned when the wheels sometimes have fallen off the wagon, and someone is in an overwhelmed state as a senior leader. And they are desperately good technically at their job, but they're wrestling with how to get people to be better with them to deliver the outcomes. And then they call me and I work with that leader. Now, Anthony, the gift is, does it always work? No, the honest truth is it doesn't, because I can't make you change and I'm not there to fix you. I am only there to guide you, to help you as you're going on this journey, to have someone next to you to guide you, to show you elements of your growth, and for you to choose it, because that is what you bring. Always is choice.
Yeah. And the fact that most of us look at a place or an organization as a whole, whereas that organization is made up of individuals. So we have to focus on each and every individual and look at the points that we can put forward, the ideas, the principles that we can expose to them so that they grow as individuals. And once they grow as individuals, then the whole organization will grow.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's why I wrote the Grow Me Guide, because to try and teach people about growth, they've got to go on a journey. And so I've broken this guide down very practically. And so, I mean, Anthony, I'm dyslexic, and I've seen, we hand books to people, they never read them. There's too many words in them. I've tried to make it simple. There's pictures, you know, there's bullet points, there's my story to make it relatable. And then there's teaching people how to reflect by asking some questions for them to think. And I think when we do this, we start unlocking those layers of growth. Because for someone to just to grow, they go pick up a book, they read it. They still don't know how to do it. I've got to go from the head space, into the heart space, into the action space. And that's the only way to get it to move.
Beautiful.
Did I articulate that okay?
Yeah, sure. And when you mention about picture or image, I kind of want to imagine that, and because I've had a glance at what you do. I don't think this is your first book.
No, I have two other books. I've got two human stories.
Yes.
The one is called Oscar the Pufferfish Owns His Pop.
Yeah.
And that one is really, my son was bullied at the age of, I'd say about 9 or 10. And I could see him withdraw from society and become very prickly. And then on the other side, the flip coin, I'm working in organizations where leaders are very prickly. And I'm thinking these two sit together. And then I got introduced to Dr. Brene Brown's work probably 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And her work started transforming my life. And then I started looking at empathy and realizing empathy is the only way to get people from that prickly state into self-accountability. And so I wrote the story about Oscar. So in my practice, we have these purple pufferfish toys, which I'll throw at people every now and again. We have fun. They get a whole kit of crazy when they work with me, Anthony. But part of it, we introduced the pufferfish concept that when a fish is fluid, it moves, it's agile, it's free. And then as soon as fear kicks in, it pops.
Yeah.
And it puts its spikes out and it poisons its world. And that's exactly what we do as human beings. And so that story is a human story for people to share with their children, to read it so that the family can start being accountable for popping and how to get out of that with love. Beautiful. And then the other story is my story. Yeah. And it's about my story of belonging. So it's Astra the unicorn finds her belonging. And, you know, Anthony, when we started our conversation before we got online, we spoke about a bit about my life. My dad was a minister, a religious minister, and he and my mother loved me so much. They wrapped me in their arms of love. And I always felt I was a little bit different. So the story is about this unicorn that's born between the sun and the moon because they love each other so much. And this unicorn is their product. Okay. And then at the age of 10, this unicorn falls to earth and has to find her gift, her belonging. Yeah. And she decides, you know, we're both from Africa. She goes into the savannah and she goes, hey, zebras, like, I'm going to hang out with you today. And they take a look at her and they go, yeah, no, you're not, because you're way too bright and shiny and you don't fit here. And she's very upset, like she's rejected. She goes and sits by this mud pool under a tree, under the stars. And she's crying and she's saying to the stars and the moon, why can't I be like everybody else? So she sees the mud and she goes, I have got a plan. I'm going to roll in this mud, man. I'm going to cake myself in this mud. I'm going to run out on that savannah tomorrow. And those zebras are going to love me. She runs out into the savannah. She stinks. She's dirty. They laugh at her because they can still see her horn. So she's still not good enough, right? Yeah. And then she sees this troop of monkeys and she goes, I'm going to swing in the monkey. Those monkeys are free. I'm going to be in the trees. I'm going to swing from branch to branch. But I can't because I've got hooves and I've got a tail. And I don't fit there. So where do I belong? And then she goes through this place where she finds this eclectic bunch of animals that just love her for who she is. And then the storm sweeps up and suddenly she starts using her gift and she covers them with her sparkle and they don't get wet in the storm and they don't get blown around. They're safe. And as she starts doing that, she starts singing and her voice puts them to sleep. And then she hides when the storm is over because she thinks they're going to laugh at her, just like the giraffe, just like the zebras and the monkeys. And she goes and finds a space and she hides and they find her. And they tell her that her gift is a gift to them and that she's perfect just the way she is. And please, will she bring her gift so that they can be better together. And so that's the unicorn story.
That's a beautiful story. And in it, already I identify so many lessons inside there. And it's not just one, but so many lessons in the story.
It's a beautiful story. It's, you know, I wrote it after I sat meditating at an airport, as you do when you're busy working. And I was on a flight between Melbourne and Sydney. And I was in that beautiful space of self-acceptance and love. And this book just came out of my heart.
It's beautiful, beautiful. And
thank you.
It's also aimed at young
it's
people.
Aimed at families, absolutely. So
yeah, but I like the fact, even when you mentioned about the first one with the toys, and I like the fact that the same principles that you teach the young when they are just growing up.
Exactly.
They can be employed in business also, because these are things that you have adapted even when you're talking or coaching or organizations and individuals into growth.
Anthony, absolutely. When I go and see my CEO clients, it's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
That puffer fish is sitting on their desk. That
Yeah.
purple plush toy is sitting there looking at them, reminding them to bring the best of themselves,
Mm-hmm.
reminding them to own their fear,
Yeah.
reminding them to show up bravely. And I think you're 100% right. So I took all the principles I work in,
Yeah.
and I've applied it to my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
not just my work life. And so you're right. If we can teach children from young that they belong,
Yes.
that they're good enough,
Uh-huh.
that the gift they have, that matters. It matters. It doesn't have to be the perfect gift. There is no perfect gift. What I have matters. It matters. Please bring it. If we can teach our children that we love them, and if we can teach them empathy and we can teach them kindness, we're making this world better.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
We're making this world better. Then they don't have to read the Grow Me when they're older to learn how to grow me, because we've already grown them from the beginning. You know, I mean, wouldn't that be amazing?
It's amazing. It's quite amazing. And talk about this world. It's a beautiful world. And now we are going into your world of books. And I like the fact that you mentioned that your father was a minister, and having grown in also such an environment, I can identify that this world of yours is growing beautiful and bigger. It started with reflect that story that we've had when we are being told how the world came. Start with Oscar. If that's Oscar, the man.
Oscar.
Comes, Oscar doesn't have to be lonely. And comes the lady who is Astra, you reflecting.
Astra.
And now we have the world that is bursting. And we have Grow Me now.
We have Grow Me.
Yes.
And you know, I have another book that I'm writing now called Free Me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got like 3 or 4 things I'm working on.
There's no stop. There's no stop. I know there are many, many more books that are coming, that are along the line. I mean,
they're busy being birthed, because if we can
what happened to
storytell and take people on the journey. You know, we just got to storytell, Anthony. We just got to take the people on the journey.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we write and we talk about it. You know, in Africa, when we can sit around, and my grandmother used to tell us stories of who we are.
Yeah.
Did your grandmother do that?
Sure.
Sure.
She did tell us stories, and I tell it in my book that is somewhere there at the back.
You see, and I'm going to get a copy of your book.
Thank you.
This is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Stories is what people feel with a story.
Mm-hmm.
I will say to you, not everyone appreciates the human stories. I give it to executive teams. They get this pack, and in there are the Astra and the Oscar.
Okay.
And I had one executive give the feedback through HR going, hey, that book didn't land. And I said to him, why didn't it land? Did they look at it? It links to all the concepts we've taught them. And they said, because it's childlike.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, that's sad, because shouldn't we be more childlike, to be curious, to understand, to look into things, to be amazed by the wonder that we live in every day?
Yeah.
To be amazed. We lose that as adults, and we become, in the shell. I've got the shell. I've got to be an adult. What? Why? I've got to be a human. I've got to be a good human being. Anyway, that's my passion. I'm so passionate about it, as you can hear, Anthony.
We can tell that. So let's go into Grow Me, where I still believe that we have still some childlike principles that we draw from as we are growing up. Now, tell us a bit more about Grow Me, the book that is launching in just a short while. And I think you have a copy there. Can we have a look?
I fetched this. I got this from the printer today. You can't really
see. Whoa.
Today. It arrived today.
And
this is the limit.
Because of the background there is not so visible. But
you don't really want to see my background.
Part of it. and we can
I'll do it
complete
like that. Can you see it?
It's okay, it's okay. And now we see it well. We see it well. Thank you very much.
Okay, so there's only 74 pages
okay,
because I've written it as like a diary, like a guide.
okay.
I want people to use it. I don't just want them to read it and put it down, or not to read it because it's too big.
Okay.
So I'm happy to just read this front cover for you, the front first page, if that's
Please
okay.
do. Please do.
Okay. This is my story. For many years, I worked endlessly to prove my worth. I fought hard to show that I was good enough. I achieved so many things, and yet I was wrestling with me. I was empty, frustrated, exhausted, hard, judgmental, and tough on myself and others. My favorite phrase was, pull yourself towards yourself. I didn't have time for people who couldn't get on with things. In fact, in reflection, I was the hardest on me. I thought self-development was unnecessary. Actually, I feared it. And I only needed me and my ability to learn cognitively and my power to move through challenges and to win. I had to push myself, and I had to buy my own story that I would not be loved and accepted if I didn't achieve. I needed to prove to those who hurt me that I was good enough. Well, did I have news for me and you? My tough exterior was heavy to carry. I was definitely not showing up my best, not able to show those around me the real me, thereby not living my best life. I had developed these muscles to carry my armor. I was strong. What had I achieved? I'd worked my way up to executive leadership, been in global executive teams, managed life as a single parent, moved countries, survived domestic violence, started a successful business, and so much more. Does that sound like I was living the dream? The answer is no. I was not. I kept getting caught in similar situations, not good for me. It was the cycles of behavior and circumstance that I was recreating with the expertise. Every time I overcame, I achieved something new. Every time I came through a cycle, I was less happy, less fulfilled, more shameful. I'll get to shame later. I kept chasing worthiness and happiness, and it felt like Groundhog Day. I wanted to be happy, and yet I didn't know how to get there. So growth starts with me.
Beautiful. Just beautiful.
So this is what I've done in each chapter. I've shared a part of my life.
Okay.
And then I've referenced some researchers like Carol Dweck with growth mindset. You know, there is this amazing woman who no longer is with us. She's no longer with us. She's passed away. I watched her on Oprah the other day because I love Oprah. So if anyone else out there doesn't love Oprah, I'm sorry, but I like her. Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to give you this lady's name, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. She survived the Holocaust.
Okay.
Okay. I watched her story, and to be truthful, she spoke about love and she spoke about fear, and she actually contextualized that love is okay to talk about in life, because we don't want to talk about love. Love is like, no one wants to talk about that. I talk about love in the workplace. Sure. I talk about how do I look at you, Anthony, and go, man, I really love you. Not love you like, let's get, I love who you are, and I'm so grateful you bring who you are. It's that extension of kindness and the acceptance that we've got to have with each other. So I talk about love in this book. I talk about shame. I talk about the shame cage. And if you've read my story on my website, then my timeline, at one stage in my life, I felt I was breathing shame. And, I had my marriage fall apart. I had gone through domestic violence. I married again. That fell apart. That's another story all on its own, man. And as it was those cycles that I kept living through. So I needed to be the change I needed to see. The change couldn't happen outside of me. It needed to happen inside of me. So there's 9 chapters in here. We were originally going to do 12. We carved it back to 9 because we thought they're probably going to fall apart after 9. So best we only keep it at 9. And we're launching a book club on Facebook. I'd love you to be in that book club because I'd love us to talk about your book, Anthony. But we're going to launch this book club on Facebook. Every client that works with me gets a copy of the book.
Okay.
Because I want them to work through what growth is.
Yeah.
And I want them to choose the unlocking of self, because I cannot do that for them. Only they can.
Sure. Now, as
I
much
don't know
as,
if I expressed
yes,
this clearly.
no, that's quite very, very clear. And as long as we are offering the principles and the ideas and presenting them to people out there, to clients, to organizations, it's up to them.
Absolutely.
And it's up to the person
them.
who is viewing this video right now, whether he or she is going to choose growth or choose decay. Because I heard once that, and that's a fact of life, when something stops to grow, then it starts to decay.
Yes, that's true.
So if you're not growing, please look where you're going. Are you growing or are you decaying? So choose growth.
And you know what? That decay piece, we know we're decaying, but we don't know how to stop the decay. And we can. We can.
We can.
And no amounts of money, and no amounts of the next promotion, and no amounts of the sexy partner, and no amounts of the nice sports car is going to change the inner part of who we are.
Yep.
Only we can do that. Only we can do that. No one can do that for us. Like you can't buy it with money to feel better.
Yeah.
Growth is something you choose to walk through.
And it's nonstop.
Oh man, it's an evolution. It's continual. I was sitting with one of my team the other day, and we're busy working on a new program with Shazad Shamin from Stanford University.
Okay.
And it's called Positive Intelligence. And she was going through it with me, and she went, "Man, I have done so much growth. Why am I still growing? Like, it's not ticked off the box." I said, "It's not a checklist. It's not a list I can make to tick it off." Because here's the thing. As soon as I start growing and start shedding some of the stuff that I have carried with me that no longer serves me, I find other stuff.
Yeah.
And I start recognizing the other stories I've told myself. And then I start recognizing more. And I just keep taking the layers off. And by the way, I think the exterior layers are sometimes easier than those ones deep inside.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. And now, if we are not going to grow, and this is what I want to imagine. I'm someone who had been slow on adjusting to technology because technology is flying so fast. And I stuck for quite a while with my first phone that I had bought, even when the smartphones had come. And at that time, I was leading somewhere, and one of the followers says, "Hey, you as a leader, what are you displaying to us when we have better phones than you? And we have a smartphone, and we just see you trying to work around with this old kind of phone." And I said, "Okay, I can't avoid change. I can't avoid growth. It's going to grow. It's going to change. The technology is going to grow so fast. And if you're not willing to change and grow, then you're going to be the laughing stock in your environment."
You'll be left behind. And here's the thing, you won't be able to be with others.
Yes. So
I'm totally with you.
Yeah, the world is changing, the environment is changing on a daily basis, and you've just got to choose growth, whether you like it or not.
And here's the thing, in order to choose growth,
yes,
I look fear in the eye and I say, "I see you."
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm still walking through you. Don't you love that?
I do. It's wonderful.
Because fear keeps me out of growth.
Yeah.
But I can't avoid fear.
Yes.
Because that's what fear wants me to do, to avoid it. I've got to look at fear and go, "I see you." And I'm going to have courage to walk through you.
Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Thank you. Feel the fear and do it anyway. But don't toughen up against the fear. Feel it. Feel the fear. You got to work through that fear, you know? And that's part of growing me. That's part of this journey of embracing who I am, how I feel, and shifting the way I see it so that I can be it differently.
Wow. how I see it so I can be it.
Exactly.
You've
I've
got
got
to
to
see it
shift.
first.
I've got to shift here.
Yeah,
I've got to shift here.
yeah,
Otherwise, I can't be it.
yes, sure. And this is to those who are watching, choose growth. And one of the
Choose
ways,
growth.
yes, and one of the ways to grow is to read, learn, experience, and start with this book, Grow Me. Go and get this book from Cristina, and let's grow together. We don't want to laugh at you because you're left behind. Just choose growth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just please embrace growth. And to support you, we've got, obviously, it's a download on Amazon at the moment. So
Mhm.
at the moment, if you've got a Kindle, it's free.
Yeah. Oh, see?
Or you can, it's free at the moment, or you can get the paperback version,
Yeah.
which is printed on Amazon all over the world. So you'll get a
Mhm.
copy. Or if you want the limited limited version,
Okay.
which has got beautiful gold embossed on the front and a note from me, drop me an email or just go to our website, www.ignitepurpose.com.au, and go to the shop and just drop it in the shop and we'll post it off to you. Because, you know, or you can just download the digital version from the shop for $7. So whatever you want to do,
Oh,
I've made this available. I've made this available. I want people to choose growth because it's the only thing we have is choice.
choose growth. And please don't miss this opportunity. That's ignitepurpose.com.au. That's ignitepurpose.com.au. Don't miss it. Go there.
Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Go there because you have choice.
Mhm.
And I'm here to see you grow. I want to see you grow. There's no shame in that. Actually, there's celebration in growth. So, you know, I think that's really important.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we are really honored for you sharing with us this story and this ideas, because ideas grow people and ideas are everything. And someone out there has got the idea that, oh, yes, I've been rotting away. I've been decaying away. I need to start growing. So use this idea.
Use these ideas and transform your life. Unlock joy. Unlock life. We sit on the outskirts of our life, rotting and waiting. Why don't we live? Why don't we live? Why don't we breathe? And it only comes through growth. It comes through no other way.
Beautiful. So
thanks, Anthony.
It's been quite an honor having you here on Book Talk. But before you go, we'd like you to leave us with a parting shot. That's something that you'd like us to never forget and keep with us. Go for it.
Thank you, Anthony. The things you are walking through in your life today are not good or bad, they are. And if you can see them as a gift and you can start looking at your world differently and you can start being peaceful and kind and generous to yourself, you're going to find a way through and you're going to start living a beautiful life. And it starts with you. So if I could leave something with you, why don't you embrace the gift? I think there's nothing more I want to leave today, but just that.
Beautiful, just beautiful. And this is a reminder to you who is watching this book talk. And we've been having a gift on our show, who is Cristina, and she's leaving us a gift, which is her book, which is Grow Me, and she's giving it out for free at the moment before it launches in the next few days officially. Go get it from her website, ignitepurpose.com. If you can't find it.
Ignite Purpose. If you can't find it, you drop me an email and you
Yeah,
can just
drop her
go
an email.
and say,
yeah.
.com.au. I saw you on Anthony's show. Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll send you the free digital copy. So if you want to order the paperback, you just let us know. It's $15 and there's a little bit of international flight fees if you're sitting in Greece or wherever you are watching us from.
Yes.
Anthony, if I could give you a big hug today, I would. It's been so lovely to hang out with you. Thank you.
Thank you too. It's been quite a beautiful experience having you on this show. And we look forward to growing together.
Exactly. And I look forward to having you on our podcast. So for all the listeners out there, Anthony will let you know when he's there.
Thank you very much. So thank you also the viewers, or those who watch this live or the recorded version. Thank you very much. And we'd like to hear your feedback. So either leave it on bookplacemedia.com or go to ignitepurpose.com.au and leave the review.
Send me a message.
Yes, send them.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. And bye for now.
Bye.
Yeah.